Hey everybody, it's Matt again. We're going to be doing a record ramble list video. I want to talk about some deep Beach Boys cuts that aren't necessarily on compilations. These might not be on your Sounds of Summer or your Endless Harmonies. And if you're a fan, if you're well into the buffet of music that this band has, you realize there's a lot of really hidden gems. And I think our ground rule for this is we're going to say it has to be on an officially released album. So we're going to keep away from bootlegs. And now, given that we've had some big kind of retrospective box sets, the Sail on Sailors, the Feel Flows, and now We Got a Groove, that is fair material. That almost expands it too much, but we're talking hidden gems of tracks. Now, number one, and I think this is a true hidden gem, is the song My Diane. I've done a MIU record ramble sides 1 and 2. You can find that here on the channel. Please watch it. I'd like to see what people think about it. But My Diane is this longing track that Brian Wilson performed on the album. It's a song that has some kind of problematic lyrical influence, but for this video we're not going to get into that. I talk a little bit about on that in that video if you want to see it. But I think if you take this song more holistically from a general human level, it's just about that desire and that longing for somebody. And maybe it's an unreciprocated love or unrequited love. And there's just this howling feeling of, everything is wrong and nothing is right. The way Dennis just churns out that vocal. There's the damage to his voice almost just evokes the desperation in the delivery. So this is a heavy cut, and I love the kind of brooding piano production with the strings. It was hard to lose my Diane, and Dennis has got such this rasp in his voice. To me, this is a prime underrated cut. If you were to tell somebody this was the Beach Boys, they'd be like, "Are you for real?" They would maybe have a hard time believing that. So that's My Diane. We're gonna talk another hidden track. We're all over the map, but I'm going to go off the Holland album. I'm going to go Steamboat, which is this really kind of lurching. To me, the music sounds like a steamboat, just kind of lurching around the deep south in the Mississippi. People have called this almost a Smile-esque track. I think this was a Carl Wilson track, or no, this was a Dennis track that was written by or performed by Carl Wilson. And Carl's got this great, just very clean, high vocal, and it's basically this kind of fragmented look at the idea of the steamboat, and there's that rolling down the river, the steamboat. It's a very chilled out song. It feels very meditative. When I hear these rhythmic songs, to me they kind of evoke this meditative quality. And there's kind of that big I say ear splitting, but it's not loud. It's just this very bright guitar lead, and I'm guessing that was probably a Blondie Chaplin or Ricky Fataar effect. They played that. And to me, this sounds very 70s. This feels very contemporary. That's one of the things about Holland, is the music was they were trying to be their contemporary music. A lot of that was, influenced by Jack Riley kind of leading the band in a managerial direction. So Steamboat's a great song. It's one, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite songs or anything, but it's such a deep cut, and it's so one of one. You're like, yeah, this is also the Beach Boys. So I guess that's what this might morph into, is songs that you have, if you didn't know, you'd be very taken aback that it was the Beach Boys. So really cool track. And Holland, to me, I think to fans, is kind of like a big what if. What if they continued to go in this more contemporary direction? And Holland, to me, I give some of these more lesser regarded albums, I give them these high praise or whatever, but Holland's one that I understand it's one of their best albums, just front to back. It's a very well crafted album. They're putting in a lot of time and trying to do new things, but it's just never been one of my favorites. And I think that's one of those things I could see this album coming around, because I love a lot of the tracks isolated, but it's just never been one of my go-to albums. I mean, there's fans who put Holland in his top 5 Beach Boys albums, and I have no qualms with that. That is totally a valid opinion. So all that to say, Steamboat, great song. let's move back to some of the 60s stuff, because after the Pet Sounds and after Smile kind of fell through, there was a kind of a, I think I may have lifted this from the Honkin' Down the Highway podcast, but it's kind of these lean years, or these wilderness years. And I think, speaking of that podcast, go check out the strangecurrencies.com. It's a independent music review site. You know, it's music journalism, and it's a very it's grassroots. So go check that out. But I think they did a whole article on like kind of the wilderness years of the Beach Boys, and we're talking the hidden tracks. Now, this song that I'm going to bring up is, I'm trying to get my thoughts. It's a song this definitely sounds like the Beach Boys. This is a vocally, interweaved song. It sounds like a Beach Boys track. To me, this is like a hidden gem. It's a lost great. But the song Breakaway, I didn't even say the song. The song Breakaway is the track I'm talking about. And lyrically, it's about breaking free from the chains of whatever, whether it's your own self-doubt or your depression or anything. It's a very commonplace song that can be applied to a lot of different people's scenarios. And I think Brian, he wrote this song with Reggie Dunbar. And Reggie Dunbar is kind of was a pseudonym for Murray Wilson. I think this is one of the last songs that Murray and Brian ever wrote together. So it's kind of cool that this is one of my favorite Beach Boys songs, and it has a Murray Wilson contribution. So, but I love the instrumental of it too. I love the verse that time will not wait for me. Time is my destiny. The chorus kind of leave you in a limbo, but then you get to that, I can break away from that lonely life. It kind of resolves. Really cool chords in this one. I mean, it's a very complex song to sing, but it also has it has a great melody line that you can sing along very well. That's what I love about the Beach Boys, is they can make very complex, chord voicings be so singable. And to me, that's part of the magic of Brian Wilson. So Breakaway, Gold Star track. All these tracks that I'm talking about so far are Gold Star tracks. Let's talk about something else. Let's jump ahead 10, 15 years. Let's go to the Beach Boys self-titled album. And we're going to talk about, this is going to be a quirky song. We're going to do Crack at Your Love. This is a Al Jardine, Brian Wilson co-write. And it's this kind of idiosyncratic 80s production about, it's very Brian Wilson, and Al Jardine has always been a big proponent of kind of the helping out with some of the offbeat, wacky stuff, and I love that. Crack at your love. Oh, I love that. And then, it's kind of got these uncertain chords about, the idea is I want to have a crack at your love. I want to get to know you. But Al does this great high falsetto. I'm gonna need a little help from above. I can only do the head voice. I can't do the high crack voice he does. But it's a really kind of quirky track, but it's a fun Brian Wilson song. And kind of in the 80s, he was kind of all over the place and kind of getting back into being a prolific songwriter. He's getting back into his bag of writing material. So this is a weird little track. I'm not gonna pretend this is like some masterpiece, but it's such a quirky song. And I do love that bridge where Brian goes, lonely nights, lonely days. It's pretty simple, but it's just offbeat enough to kind of perk your ear up a little bit. So there's 4 underrated Beach Boys tracks that I guess 1.5 of the songs you could be like, yeah, I kind of see those as Beach Boys songs, but 2 that are just totally off the beaten path, you have to be told they're Beach Boys songs. And I don't know, maybe I kind of like doing these style videos because they make me think about the various avenues of the catalog, the various different stuff going on. And there's there's the classic era, there's the more instrumental, kind of more complex era, there's the fall, there's there's the late 60s, there's all these different eras. So it makes you jump around and consider all of these songs on an even playing field. They're all Beach Boys tracks. So That said, we're going to go ahead and jump off here, and we will catch you on the next one. And I'm expecting to get I need to get my 15 Big Ones album reviews uploaded. I have those done. I've been kind of sitting on those for a while. They're not some of my best, but if you like the off the ramble, off the dome kind of style, they're very much in that vein, just like this video. So thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one. Have a good day.